Hello everyone. I I thought to do a video like this for a market recap since we haven't done these market recaps in a while. I'm gonna go through it just like I used to do it with everyone so you can see where I'm looking at the markets and the direction of the markets for this week and the coming weeks. So we'll go to let's start with the DXY. Now I'm going to start from the weekly charts so we can look at what exactly DXY did last week and we can all be on the same page to assume what the market is going to be doing next week. Okay, so let me just look at this particular line here. Okay, so this is a weekly sell side liquidity. Okay, right from here. Okay, so mind you, I haven't looked at any of this already. I'm doing it with you so that I can articulate everything that I'm actually thinking as we are speaking. So first of all, one thing I can notice on the DXY chart right from here is that this was a sell side liquidity that I called for. So now you can see that market hits that sell side. It went and after hitting the sell side, rejected and then came back to drop again. Now I'm going to delete some things that I don't think are necessary any longer. This has already been filled, so it's no longer necessary. But now market hits this, it goes up, it comes down again. Now one thing to notice on the weekly, market drops down, and this is on the Euro and the DXY chart, sorry. You can see here that market takes out this liquidity zone. It's important to see what market did here. So this is a weekly sell side liquidity that the markets took out and then it rejected. Very important. Now since it rejected it, let's drop to the weekly. So we are doing a top-down analysis. So this is what we are looking at. Right from here on the weekly, we can see a sell side liquidity has been hit. If I'm looking on the upside, buy side targets, I'll look at somewhere like here for a weekly buy side. And I'll look at these little areas. I'm not really gonna draw a line here, but I'm gonna be looking at these areas, this particular area, as a zone that if market draws into, I could possibly see a reaction. So when the market is going from here to here, I would like to see some sort of confirmation as to what the market is going to do, because there's a lot of rejection candles with a big rejection block right over here. There's a huge rejection block. So anything could happen in the market from that point. So I'll be looking to see what the market is doing at that particular point on the lower time frame. Let's go to the daily chart. And on the XY, once again, we see that market comes down, takes out the sell side liquidity on Wednesday, 17 September, and then we see the markets begin to rise up again. Looking at this, we maintain our sell side liquidity here, which is fine. But on the buy side, where could markets be drawing up to? We have a buy side liquidity right over here. That's going to be a daily buy side liquidity right over here. We also have a fair value gap for the daily side right here. Okay, so this on the DXY. So looking at this particular week, I'm going to delete this particular one because this has been used already multiple times. But looking at this right here, we can see that we have a daily buy side liquidity here. One of two things is likely to happen. We are likely to see markets just go straight up like this, all right, or we are likely to see markets push down and go up like this. So we have scenario 1 and scenario 2. Out of these two, what do I think is likely to happen? Personally, I think scenario 2 is more likely to happen. Let's look at what we have on the news side for the week. Monday, we have no red line news on Monday. Tuesday we have some news on euro, which is a red folder news event, and we have some news on USD as well, which is the Fed Powell speaking. Wednesday we have no news events. Thursday we have some, or we have news events, but it's not a red folder news. Thursday we have some red folder news, which is GDP. This is USD and unemployment claims. This could be big, all right? So this could be big. My suspicion is this Thursday could actually be something that's going to help push this to the upside. Friday we have core PCE index as well. So looking at how the chart is looking, or the distribution of the news events for the week, I think I would like to see something like this happen, where price is going to push down and then push up for the week. But then again, too, we're also likely to see price just go up. So what direction am I looking at for DXY? I'm looking at price hitting to the upside. As to how it will hit is really the main question. So if I was going to trade, I'll take my trades very easy with low risk on a Monday. If I see a very nice and juicy trade on a Monday, I will take it very, very slow and very, very easy. Why? Because this is just telling me that the market is very, very likely to drop before it goes up. And if that's the situation, I would not want to be in a high risk trade. I don't want to use a lot of my capital right from the get-go, because the market could just go down, hit my stop loss, and keep going up. So that's what I'm looking at for the DXY for this coming week. Let's quickly switch over to Euro USD. Once again, remember Euro USD is inversely correlated with the DXY. Now you can see that this rejection, so we have a very similar rejection candle that actually happened on Euro USD right over here. Now this particular rejection candle on Euro USD, if you really watch it, it's almost perfectly correlates with this buy side liquidity as listed here. This should be just a little up. Yeah, you can see it's almost perfect. It hits it and it completely rejects off that particular level, which tells me that this is a very key level that we need to watch. And it's no surprise here, because we have two equal highs here forming the liquidity zone. So it makes sense that it was a very key level. But now we have markets completely reject off it and begin to push down, indicating that we might be seeing some lower prices, but it's not confirmed yet. One of the things I also don't really like about this particular chart is how much we have very long wick candles right over here, because we have long wick candle to the downside, to the downside, to the downside, pushes up, leaves one long wick candle to the upside. Let's go to the daily chart. So right after the rejection on Wednesday of that particular level, give me a second, let's go back to the weekly first. I'd like to note this particular buy side liquidity as well, because this is the most immediate buy side liquidity as well, to see what price does from there. Oops, sorry, that's a weekly buy side, not a daily buy side. All right, so we go to the daily chart, and then we see that market as well begins to, okay, yeah, let me close that. I don't need that alert anymore. So now we see the market begins to drop over here. I had a fair value. So now this particular box here, I was just using to determine the consolidation that the market was previously facing.
Mic off.
All right, so around this particular point, I was actually not trading because market was generally in a consolidation, but I don't need that yet. I don't need that anymore. I had this fair value gap here that was drawn, and you can see that market came down, used that fair value gap. So I no longer need that particular fair value gap anymore, because it's been utilized. It's been mitigated. So we have my closest sell side liquidity is going to be down here. So I got my weekly sell side liquidity here. My closest buy side liquidity is going to be right on top here, but I don't even need to put it there because looking at what I'm seeing here, there's this buy side liquidity that's probably going to be more important than the other buy side liquidity. But fair value gap wise, I have this fair value gap here, which I'm looking at price utilizing it. Now, this makes me even more confident that we are likely to see price go up before it comes down. Why? Because apart from this fair value gap, if you notice in this price ramp up, I actually have another fair value gap here that has just been used. That's between candle 1, 2, 3. We have this one over here. Personally, for me, I like to look at this as well because sometimes you might see price reject and not reject all the way to this fair value gap. It might reject to this fair value gap, excuse me, and then begin to drop down. So on Euro USD, what I'm expecting is I'm looking to see price head towards this downside, same as the XY, but price will most likely come up either to this level or to that level. But we're looking at price entering somewhere here. Oops. We're looking at price going from here to ending somewhere here and then dropping all the way to the downside. All right, so these are the two scenarios that I'm looking at actually happening for this week. That's the two plays I'm looking at actually happening for this week. Will we see price do that? Let's see what happens. And as you know, GBP USD is most of the time very, very similar in structure to what's actually happening. Now, first, one of the things to notice, personally, I don't like to trade when GBP and the euro is not in correlation. I don't like trading scenarios like that at all. It doesn't usually help when you're trading like that. Anyways, looking at the weekly chart, you can see here that the GBP USD failed to actually take out that high before the drop. All right, but then you can see that GBP USD still gave us that rejection candle, just like we had on the XY and the Euro USD. So, but the sell side on this seems to be pretty strong on this. So if I'm going to the downside, I might favor GBP USD more than I might actually favor Euro USD, because the sell side draw on the weekly chart for this seems to be much stronger. Even though price did not actually hit this weekly sell side, what we can notice is that we had a rejection block right over here, where price literally just tipped that rejection block. All right, no, so the rejection block is the highest high, but we can see that the wick of that, the price just literally taps into it and then begins to drop. For me, that's almost, especially when it comes to correlated pairs, that's almost equivalent to liquidity being taken out most of the time. It's a personal observation, right? So I can boldly say that looking at what is happening, I'm expecting Euro USD to be dropping, GBP USD to be dropping, and the XY to be rising. All right, so I'm looking at my targets for the week. I'll be looking at number one, this gap to be filled. This is the lowest hanging fruit. This will definitely be filled this week at some point. Oops, hold on. This is a weekly sell side. All right, so this will definitely be filled. This is a weekly sell side, so it could be filled in the month, not in the week. It could be filled somewhere in the month, not in the week, because it's a weekly sell side. But a bigger draw on liquidity for me would be the weekly sell side down over here. All right, so let's switch to, and for the daily buy side liquidity, I'll still be looking at a rejection block. I don't really think I want to update anything here. If the market is going to go up, it's probably going to enter into this rejection block again and maybe reject again. Let's go to the daily chart and let's see what the daily chart has for me. So on the daily, once again, I can see, so I'm trying to analyze it with you guys live. So I can see this here. There's a fair value gap here. I like how price literally entered into that fair value gap and rejected off it. This is giving very strong sell signals, very, very strong sell signals. Price has entered into this fair value gap right over here. You should take note of that. But I like how strong of a close we had on Friday, which could signal that price may want to keep pushing to the downside towards this buy side liquidity. This sell side liquidity. However, price could push up, which is not, honestly, it's not looking very likely for price to push up on GBP/USD. But should price push up, we are looking to see a rejection to somewhere around here on the daily chart. And then from there, we'll be looking to see price drop even lower as well. So GBP/USD, I'm looking at this as my target. I'm looking at that as my target, but I'm looking at price probably going somewhere here and dropping. Very similar. So I'm generally going on the sell side. So feel free to trade in these directions. Feel confident to trade in these directions for this week. Feel free to trade in these directions for this week. Anyway, so I thought to just bring this to you. I know it's been a while since I had these meetings with you guys. I'm in some stock trades. I don't usually talk about my stock trades at all, but I'm currently in some stock trades. Stocks I usually trade very, very long term. Not very long term, but at least I swing stock trades. I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4 stock trades currently. So this is a stock trade I'm actually in. Price came down. This is where I entered. Price came down, and this I'm just looking for 1:1.4. I have a very similar trade on Plantair as well. Yes, and you can see that this is what I was thinking about earlier. About I want to see price close above the fair value gap before I trade, which was actually this fair value gap, this particular one. I was actually waiting for price to close above it. So once price closed above that, I entered into the market right away, and as you can see, it's totally playing out. SoFi is also doing very well. I was looking for price to push up, and you can see it's almost at my target, 1:1.23, and Microsoft is literally just break even right now. But I'm looking at Microsoft clearing its all-time highs, and we see where Microsoft takes it from there. Microsoft generally is very slow. These are the places I have the stock ones I just decided to show you guys. If you'd like me to be posting some of my stock plays and things like that, because that's more long term, that's more patient. Okay, because my entries on my stock portfolio is on the daily charts, not on the 5 minutes. All right, so if you want more information about my stock trading analysis, individual stocks I'm buying and holding, individual stocks I'm buying and just looking to make just a little bit of profit out of it and then moving out of it, just put a heart icon by the link I'm about to post, and that will show me that you guys are interested in that, and then I'll post that. All right, thank you guys so much. It was great having you in today's training. I know it's been a while, but thank you for listening to this, and I'll see you in the next video.